I'm Eileen Nash. Join me every week as we meet interesting people who will teach you new, creative ways to manage stress and embrace vitality in your life. Grab a cup of tea and join me for this adventure. You are in for a sensual and enlightening treat when you meet my special guest, Dominique Peters. She will clarify the nature of tantric work and demonstrate the 3 activating breaths. We also share our individual healing journeys with art. Hi, I'm here today with Dominique Peters. She was actually in my class of Color of Woman in 2013. So welcome to the show,
Thank you. So good to be here.
It's wonderful to have you.
Thank you.
Dominique is, she's been a teacher for many years. She's a certified yoga teacher, a Reiki master, and a sexual healing teacher. So tell me what the title is for your sexual healing work.
I consider myself a sex and relationship coach. I was officially certified through Sam Isadora's program, and I'm known as an Isadora Tantra coach.
That is fantastic.
Thank you.
I've experienced some of your work when we've gotten together with the Cosmic Cowgirls. And so she has a long history of being a teacher. She taught for over a decade psychology. And so tell me, how did you get involved in this work?
Yes. Well, I was always the person in high school and college that people would come to me and ask me about sex, which was really interesting because I'm actually also a survivor of sexual trauma from both childhood and adulthood as well. So I always had a fascination learning about sex. I was a voracious reader, and it really wasn't until, even though I was able to talk to people about sex and always felt really comfortable talking about it, I was never really in my body, really experiencing the pleasure that comes from sexual healing and becoming multi-orgasmic until my early 30s. And that's when I knew that I wanted to do this for a living. So I really feel that through working actually with Shiloh and going through the Color of Woman program, that really helped me drop into intertwining art and the sex coaching as well, which is different from actually, I'm not an actual sex worker. So I like to clarify that for everybody.
Well, you've mentioned several really fascinating things. Multi-orgasmic.
Yes.
Not every, so tell me a little bit more about that, like if you were talking to me as a client.
Well, first, a lot of women come to me, and sometimes men too. Most of the women that come to me are really not comfortable in their bodies, so I help women learn to love their bodies. There's also this piece about they feel like they don't deserve to experience pleasure, or maybe they experience pleasure through food, but they don't feel like they can really experience pleasure through sex because of the shame that's tied around it. So I teach women, and men too, how to really be in their bodies and experience pleasure, and also through that open up to experiencing multiple orgasms, or even one. I worked with a woman who was diagnosed as anorgasmic, so not able to have an orgasm, and over time she was able to have an orgasm between my coaching and also to just the work that she was doing on her own. So pretty amazing.
That's brilliant. And can you imagine having someone diagnose you that you can't have an orgasm?
Right.
That's setting it up in their mind.
Yep. Well,
and your mind is a large part of this, correct?
Right. The biggest influencer of our experiencing sexual pleasure is our mind.
Oh, fantastic. I love this. But this other very rich piece is about helping people learn to love their bodies. Yes. Because you hear people, they put their body down all the time, unconsciously. Oh, I'm so fat. Oh, blah, blah, blah. I'm too big, whatever. So how do you get in there with someone to just help them even realize that maybe some of their negative self-patterns with their thoughts about themselves?
Yeah, so first I try to find out what are people's, where their story began. So a lot of times it began when they were teenagers, when they realized their body was changing. Sometimes it began when they were younger, when they realized that they felt different or they didn't look like everybody else. And also, too, there's this piece about, depending on what your belief system is, where there's a lineage, especially with women, also who have their mothers and their grandmothers and their great-grandmothers have all felt shame about their body. So they feel like they were never taught, how to be proud to be a woman, and B, also that it's okay to experience immense amounts of pleasure. And Mama Gina, I don't know if those of you out there are familiar with her work.
I don't know her.
Oh, she's amazing. So she started the School of Womanly Arts, and she has a saying that says, there is no amount of pleasure that our body can't handle.
I think that's a good motto.
I think so too. So I like to share that as well.
Let's talk a little bit more about, the dance.
Right. Well, first, I also want to address that there really is there's no federal standards really about sex education. So some people never even have an opportunity to learn about sex more than it being biological. Like A goes into B and vice versa. Yeah. Right. So there's really in this country, there's no real way for those of us who want to learn about sex. Really, it's everyone.
Yeah.
So
I think everyone secretly, at least, wants to know.
Right. So unless you're watching porn, which, by the way, is not really the best place to learn about sex, although it can be useful, you have to seek elsewhere. I loved reading about sex. Also, when I finally was able to experience it, I was like, wow, this is amazing. And you just think everybody else probably feels this way, but it's not true. And I learned about that from talking to my friends, and then, of course, being in Color of Woman and talking to women of all ages from around the world. It's not just isolated to the United States. It's a global issue. Right. So women are taught to feel shame about their bodies for one reason or another, whether it's because we're actually taught about it from our families or the media, or just something that we learn. It's interesting because it's not, and I speak about women, but it's not just women, it's men too. So there's a growing issue of people who are not able to be in their bodies. And so one of the things I do is I teach people how to be in their bodies and experience pleasure from sex and sensuality too. Because if you can't experience pleasure from eating food, how are you supposed to really experience an orgasm in the bedroom?
Or elsewhere.
There's different kinds of orgasm.
This is something this subject is so huge. We could talk about the images in magazines of women. We could talk about the educational system. We could talk about men and women. We could talk about the women and women, or all the different kinds of sexuality there is on Earth. And so what shall we focus on today?
That's an excellent question. Well, one of the reasons you asked me to be here too was just to talk about healing from sexual trauma. So that's part of, and how that's possible and how to open up, because a lot of the people that come to me for guidance and coaching are people who've tried therapy and it just doesn't work. Like, they've tried everything. And so they think, well, let's try this, because really sex coaching is something new. People are not able to, or even aware that they can experience multiple orgasms.
So for someone who has kept this tamped down, because really to go there might be really terrifying or whatever, how would you start to just help them?
So some people do want to actually, it helps them to talk about what their core wound is, because they're ready to, but I don't even need to know exactly what that is.
Right.
Between the painting and the breath work and the sensual movement, over time, it doesn't work overnight, but you can heal. It takes work, just like anything. So you really just have to be committed to making it happen for yourself and to choosing to heal.
But what a great reward.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
This could be great.
It's pretty amazing. And once you peel back one layer, there's another and another and another. So you may get to whatever the core wound is, and then you find out there's like 10 more. And you're like, oh my gosh. So
Right.
that's where the painting comes in handy. That's where the breath work comes in handy, is because you're learning how to move through it no matter what comes your way.
Right, and the painting always holds it creates a container. It's actually a really safe container.
Right.
It cuts through the story with the psychologist very quickly too.
Right.
Because they can see the image. But so tell me a little bit more about the breathing work we're going to do.
Yes. So I was taught a type of tantra that's about 5,000 years old. So it's pretty foolproof if you use it on a regular basis. When I first started practicing, I did it for 30 days. I was shocked and amazed because although I was somebody who, I mean, obviously I was in a sex coaching training, I was aware, I knew I wanted to help people. I was, as they say, healed enough to help other people.
Right.
I know I still had some blocks and some blockages of energy in my different chakras, which I know you talk about chakras in your program.
Quite a bit.
Yes. So a lot of times for people when they're blocked in sexually, it's the first, second, and third chakra. So the tantric breath work that we're going to do is going to help open up those channels when we do that a little bit later.
Great. And then we're also going to demonstrate movement.
Yes. Well, the breath work and the movement go hand in hand.
They go hand in hand.
And I am somebody who's tried so many things and so many different types of healing. I was like, oh, great, like this is going to change anything for me. And I was shocked.
It is actually really hard to do something for 30 days.
Yes.
You know, they're like you're really on it for 7, 10 days, and then you're, I don't have time.
Well, the cool thing about that is at first I was like, okay, I'm going to do this for 25 minutes a day, which really isn't that much time.
No.
But then, of course, that story pops in like, oh, I don't have enough time. By the end, I was only doing it for like 5 minutes. And then sometimes on some days I would only have a minute or two. But even just a small amount of time, even just committing to just do one of each of the 3 that I'm going to teach today, something will change.
I want to do it.
Yes, we're going to.
So just by the way, I have not done this breath work and I have not done the movements. So if you want to watch and join us while we do it, you're in the privacy of your home. No one's going to see you. And then maybe you can, think about it. Make a commitment to 30 days. And then you can also just watch this. You can click on it again and go to this part of the show.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So Dominique and I were just talking, and we're talking about our own stories, and we had mentioned the painting and the power of painting with approaching different body issues, etc., and sexual trauma. And so I want to show you this. This is Mini-Me, and so this is a long journey that I started painting after I was a graduate from Color Woman School. I let the muse pick the color. I was born with a congenital constriction of the bladder neck. So they had to do these procedures on me repeatedly, and they were the kind of things you can't put the baby to sleep because there's more risk in putting the baby to sleep, so they have to hold the baby down and do this stuff to her. So I had that done repeatedly from the time I was an infant till I was around 5. When you're a baby, you don't get it, but you just don't hold you hold it in your body. And so this is my healing journey with this, and I think that this is why I have so much juice and energy about this episode with you. So tell me about this is your talisman painting.
Yes, well first thank you so much for sharing that. That's really important. I feel that can reach a lot of people. Not everybody has experienced sexual trauma, but no matter what, everybody has trauma of some kind from somewhere.
Exactly.
Whether they had it when they were children or they have it when they're older, and that's why this particular painting process is so powerful that we teach. And yes, behind me is my painting called The Talisman, and well, it's actually called Divine Desire, and this was my talisman painting. And this one is one that helped me. I also experienced sexual molestation and trauma growing up, and then rape as an adult. So for me, this was such a huge painting because, again, I had done so much healing already, but there's something about being able to put it in a container that's so powerful. And then you're able to share it or not with other people. So for me, one of my big wounds was that I wasn't worth anything. And so that's why you can't really see it, but there's a little skull at the bottom, and it says, "I declare I am sacred." So I think that's one of the things is when we experience other people, especially those of us who experience sexual trauma, when we experience violation on our bodies, we feel like we don't have control of it. So part of this work is taking back our bodies, taking back our power. And then as teachers, we share with other people how we healed, and our stories help them heal as well, and help heal their own stories.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you.
And so this is vulnerable for us, but we have healed enough where we want to share it with other people, because then maybe you'll have hope of, if you have a block or something you want to heal, that there are ways, and you can do it. That's the power of what we're doing. That's why we're here and why we're willing to talk about these things on camera. And anyway, I hope that if any part of this show has touched you, then you can reach Dominique how?
You can go to my website at dominiquepeters.com. That's just my first name and my last name. Everything from one-on-one coaching to group coaching to the retreats that I offer too, and other juicy products.
So we're back, and we're going to show you the movement and the breathing pieces and show you how easy it is. And Dominique is going to lead us in this training.
So I first wanted to say that I know that what we're doing is called Tantric Breathwork, and I wanted to preface it with, although Tantra can be about sex, Tantra isn't just about sex. No. It's a system that's been around for over 5,000 years, and there's a lot of amazing, amazing, amazing parts to it. So just know that you might have heard something else about Tantra, but I encourage you to be open and just try to do these exercises with us.
Tantra is really about living your whole life being present, isn't it?
Yes. So it's about presence and being in your body and connecting your breath and movement and spirit, so many things. It's like a whole nother episode.
Right, there's several episodes here, I think.
So we're gonna start with what's called the 3-part Tantra breathwork. So you can do this sitting, you can do this standing, whatever feels good for you. So we're gonna do this standing today, and I'm gonna be talking through some of the parts. So just keep doing an exercise until I say stop, essentially. And as Eileen mentioned, this is her first time. So if you're new to Tantra or if you're new to breathwork and meditation, just follow along and do your best, okay?
And there's one other aspect that I'd like for people to notice, that so I'm decades older than Dominique, but this is for multiple ages, right?
Oh, absolutely. There's certain breath work, actually the first one I'm going to teach today, the bliss breath, that has done amazing things to help people with anxiety. So,
oh, great.
Yes, so this can be used, and I'll explain more as we go along.
Wonderful.
All right. So the first part of the 3-part tantric breath work is known as the bliss breath. So to start, we're just going to rest our arms at our side, and you can go ahead and close your eyes and just breathe. Just breathe in through your nose normally. If you can't breathe through your nose, that's okay. And go ahead and put one of your hands on your belly and take a deeper inhale through your nose and exhale. On the next one, I want you, as you're breathing in, to constrict the back of your throat. Should sound like Darth Vader. My teacher calls this the sexy Darth Vader breath. So just another deep breath in at your own pace and exhale. One more time. Exhale. And just keep your eyes closed and just notice how you feel in your body. And a lot of times we just judge, we're always judging how we feel. Just be with wherever you are today. Good. And then go ahead and open your eyes and put your hands down at your side. And this next breath is called the breath of arousal. For those of you who've studied any kind of yoga or tantra before, this might be a little familiar to you. It's called the breath of arousal. We're going to be working on your 7 chakras. The first breath helps you to really drop into just your body as a whole. It really helps to just relax your belly, so your 3rd chakra, and it starts opening your 1st and 2nd chakras. Place one hand on your belly, and you're going to take, for those of you who have a little bit of a harder time squeezing your pelvic floor, you're going to take your fist and just have it ready, eyes closed. And then remember the accents on the exhale. And you can have your eyes open or closed at this point, whatever feels good for you. So go. Keep going. I'm just going to talk a little bit. So you want to be squeezing your pelvic floor. Exhale on the out breath. And then also, too, just really keep pushing it. Just push, 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 push. Good. So you might want to feel like you want to stop, but just don't. You think of all the things you want to push through in your life, and it's just like a runner in a race. You don't quit before the finish line. Just keep going. Just a little bit longer, a little faster. And exhale, go ahead and put your hands at your side. Keep your eyes closed. Again, just noticing how you feel in your body. You might feel like you did a few crunches or sit-ups. And open your eyes.
Great.
There you go. Yay.
Yeah, feel great.
Oh, excellent. The second one, the breath of arousal, is really going to help push through issues that you may have had with creativity, with if you have, again, can actually be really good to help relieve anxiety. So I've used it before, and I know other people who've used it when they feel anxious, they use it, and somehow it just relaxes them after. So this helps with creative fire, it helps balance your libido, so it's pretty fantastic.
Great. And I just realized that I was, I'm nervous a little bit, so I was like, I gotta release. And then we talked about money blocks.
Oh yeah, this one in particular, the breath of arousal. When I first started studying Tantra on top of the 30 days, I wasn't really, my relationship with money wasn't great. I wasn't really making much money. And I was like, oh, what's going on with me? I've done money work. Your money issues are held in the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd chakra. As you do these breaths, and again, it takes work, but committing to them, you can really push through money blocks that you have. And you don't need to know why, just know that it works. The next breath that I want to teach you is known as the yes breath. And for this one, if you're sitting, again, you can sit down, but I highly recommend you stand for this one. So the first part is to raise your arms up over your head. And the second part is as you say yes, you pull your arms down and you kind of bang them a little bit on the sides of your ribs. Not too hard though. So inhaling, and then as you exhale, you say yes. So the idea is that you're bringing in whatever it is you desire in your life, and you're exhaling and you're saying yes to it. And as you're banging on the side of your ribs, you're letting go of what no longer serves you. And this is the one really that goes like 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th chakra, because you're raising your arms up.
Yes. It's a power pose. In
It
dance,
is.
in dance, it's a power pose.
Yeah, absolutely. So I just want you to follow along, and I know this may seem different or weird, but I just want you to just give it a chance.
Yeah.
Okay? All right.
All right.
So inhale up, exhale, yes.
Yes.
Inhale, exhale, yes. 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 And you can close your eyes
Yes.
if you want to.
Yes.
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 Yes. Do it a little faster.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes. Yes. Yes. Yes. Yes. Say it like you mean it. Yes. 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 Faster. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes. Yes. Yes. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
10 more seconds.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes. Yes. Yes. Yes. Yes. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Then go ahead and just leave your arms up and your eyes closed. Your arms may be a little bit tingly. And just breathe normally. Good. And then go ahead still with your eyes closed and bring your hands to your heart. And just really think about what you were saying yes to. Take one more deep breath into that. It's called your sankalpa, or your seed of desire. And exhale. And that's the 3-part Tantra breath.
Well, thank
All right.
you.
Thank you.
Dominique. That was,
It's my pleasure.
it was great.
Thank you for being so open to having me here today. This was amazing. And
Yeah.
thank you for being here.
and thank you for keeping an open mind and exploring this subject, because it's a part of your life. And our whole mission here is to have everybody have the best life they can have.
We couldn't fit everything in this week, so join me next week to learn Dominique's tantric moves. They will light up your chakras. You will also meet Peter Kanyas, a gifted body worker who shares the wisdom of orthosomatic movement.